Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Kansas by Night. I think it has another name, but fucked if I can remember it. This afternoon's scene is going to be set at the Fairweather. Is going to be set not Fairweather. Is going to be set at the Fairwinds Manor House, the home of Triori Apeluda, who has asked his newly encountered red cap friend, whose name I can't remember. So he's now going to give me his name.
Kieran Winger. I'll put it in the side chat for you.
Thank you. To come for high tea, which, for those of you who don't know, is a meal at around 11:30 before lunch and after breakfast. There you go. They traditionally serve sandwiches. So, yes, you will be invited anyway to tea. High tea.
Okay. Well, he will show up approximately 15 minutes early. So that is good manners. And just walk up to the door, ring the doorbell, or knock on the door, whichever.
Elizabeth, his butler, will answer the door, look you up and down and say, I'm sorry, can I just savor this moment? Because literally, so many people have broken the fuck in here that it's a miracle people remember that there is in fact a door to knock on.
Just seems incredibly rude. Why would people just break in?
I don't know, because Fiskies have sticky fingers and we have valuable things.
Have you guys tried to invest in some security or something?
We have, but the master is somewhat old-fashioned, and he believes that people should have honor. And so, if he had his way, we wouldn't lock the door, and literally we would get what I can only describe as ruffle stomped by every gang that's ever come into creation.
I mean, there's a time for honor, and that's all well and good, but
She will smile and close the door after you, and she say, "May I take your coat, sir?"
Yes, please. Why is Karen wearing a coat in the summer? I don't know.
Yeah. She will take the coat and hang it up. I kind of just assumed it was because all red caps have winter. Yes, hashtag stereotyping.
0 dots a winner on my sheet.
Damn it! But you will be led through the house and out through the conservatory and into the back garden. The back garden's quite nice. It's quite expansive, so it's probably on about 7 acres of land. So it's a pretty big expanse of land. In the back garden, there is in fact a hedge maze. Because what kind of upper class she wouldn't have a hedge maze?
Of course.
I mean, it makes entire amounts of sense. There is a table that has been set out with tea in a large kind of a square area that's just mosaic tiles on the ground. And Triori is sitting in one of the chairs at the table, casually drinking tea.
Kieran will walk up to the table and kind of assume he won't kneel, but his posture gets more rigid. He looks more formal in a way, and he'll say, "Sir Triori."
Very calmly, without missing a beat, Elizabeth will put her hands on your shoulders and sit you into the chair. She's like, "Oh, fuck. You have achieved chair." Congrats. And Triori kind of smiles and he says, "There's no need to stand on ceremony, please, Mr. Winger."
Still not super familiar with the common etiquette.
Is this listening? Is your character
Yeah.
Jeff Winger?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yep.
We were watching Community, and I was trying to find the last name, and then they said Mr. Winger. I was like, all right, he's going to be named after the narcissistic douchebag from Community.
That's entirely acceptable. Yeah, so Triori will say, "May I offer you a cup of tea? Or sandwich, perhaps?"
Both sound pretty good, honestly. Thank you.
There will be a cup of tea will be poured from behind you, and the sandwich will be... They don't touch the sandwiches. They have tiny little sandwich tongs. And they actually put the sandwich onto the plate with the sandwich tongue. So, I have to admit, your story was by far the most heart-wrenching and yet heartwarming that I've encountered since I've been here in Kansas.
I'm not sure how to take that, honestly.
You can see him kind of contemplate for a moment. You can see the kind of loading screen of the brain, and he says, "As I said to you, the most heroic people often come from the most broken of circumstances. However, when they're shown kindness, that is all that matters for them to become good people." Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, yeah. I get what you're getting at.
Elizabeth will lean down and whisper in your ear, "It's all right. You can tell him that it sounds like neo-poetic bullshit. He doesn't really care."
I'll just kind of try to suppress a laugh. I'll roll that. My lips, oh boy. I'll roll that quick. This technically involves a social situation, right?
Yes.
Alright, so my frailty is into this.
What is the
Alright, I
red?
got one.
What is the red cap frail?
Bad attitude. They take a +2 difficulty or greater penalty on any roll involving social situations other than intimidation. And everyone just kind of thinks they're suspicious in general.
I think he sees through
But I
it.
got
Maybe.
I don't know.
He doesn't seem to care if he does. He says, "I would like to know more about this troll who was so important to you."
Well, what would you like to know?
How he found you, for a start.
It was pretty common for my Corby to get sent out and just kind of play the innocent, oh, I'm an orphan, I don't have food or money, can you help me out? That whole thing to, get food and money for the guy leading this. And the troll showed up. He saw through it immediately, but he still helped, if that makes sense. Like, he told me straight up that he knew what I was doing, or he knew what I was doing, and that I was being forced into it, but he still wanted to help.
What happened to the rest of you? You said you were in a red cap gang.
They're still out there, and they're not too happy with me for leaving. So I turned my back on all of the red caps.
He nods. "I think that in many ways it is hard to be the dreams of hunger. For after all, it's so hard to find, how to phrase, your fill of existence."
As he's saying that, Kieran will just kind of start munching down on the sandwich. He kind of forgot
It's
it was
cucumber.
there.
It's cucumber.
Ooh.
It's like
Um,
yogurt spread, like plain yogurt and cucumber on like a sweetbread.
yes. But he will say, "And how did this benevolent giant meet his end?"
He was defending a freehold from the Corby that's now after me.
From the what that's
Ganged
now?
up on him.
From
The
the what that's
Corby, the gang.
Okay. I see. How unpleasant. Poor chap.
He'll just kind of nod solemnly
I wonder, did he teach you what it was, why it was that he defended you?
He never told me. He just, I don't know, maybe he saw something in me. Maybe that's just kind of who he was. Maybe he just thought I'd be a good soldier down the line. I have no idea what his intentions were, but
One of the codes of chivalry that we as knights all attempt to fight for is very simple. Well, it states, "Thou shalt respect all those who are weak and lost, and thou shalt constitute thyself the defender of them." Meaning, whenever someone is lost, whenever they require a shield, you must be their shield. Do you understand that premise?
yeah, that's since since he took me in, that's kind of something I've tried to do too.
That is a very good step. You see him kind of clap his hands, and you hear a whistle, like I can't do it, but where you put the two fingers into your mouth and whistle,
Yeah.
the really sharp whistle from directly behind you, as in something trying to get your attention.
Oh, he'll turn around or look around.
As you turn around, you were just in time to see a wooden sword fly towards you at high velocity.
All right, time to roll Dex Athletics. Yeah, wooden sword. All right, I got 4 successes on that, so you can sit like a champ.
Catches it as gracefully as you like. And from...
I want to narrate it because that was a pretty good amount of successes. He just kind of seamlessly like rolls out of the chair and grabs it by the handle, and then immediately assumes a fighting stance.
That's excellent, because as you do that, as your back was turned, Traore, he vaults up onto the table, as in he's physically standing on the table. He must have had his another wooden sword under the table, and he's jumping down at you.
All right, roll initiative.
Yeah, now's the time when initiative is rolled.
Right. I got a 13.
God knows you're probably going to beat me. What is my bonus? I have an 11 total, so I believe it is your move, sir.
Okay. Let's see. He'll actually pause for a second and look at Traore. Rules of engagement.
Traore is kind of flying through the air at this moment.
Fair enough.
You kind of get a distinct impression, since it's a wooden sword, it's just go. You're not going to kill me. Go.
Okay. Okay. He will start off. One second, sorry. Look at the things I've never messed around with Wayfair in my life. Okay. So he's going to attempt to Wayfair himself backwards. Oh, so he doesn't get hit. Oh no. I'm showing me not doing box.
Oh dear, that is a failure.
Yeah, that's a botch.
Oh dear.
So, yeah, that's a botch.
What happens when you botch an art? I actually don't know.
I'm not sure. Let's see.
I love making statements with no context, so I just wrote in the Kansas chat, change things to just rolled initiative again.
Yeah, dude, it's great.
Context. It's a thing.
I'm really not sure. Let me double check something just to be sure.
I think it has something to, I think you gain a nightmare dice. I don't know why I think that, but I think that's what happens.
Is it Glamour?
But
Are you rolling Glamour?
no, I was rolling arts and eyebrow. Oh, yeah, you're right. So I have one nightmare.
Yeah, so it just fails and you gain a nightmare dice.
Yeah.
Okay. I think probably just make a note of that in your blue booking, I guess.
Yeah. Oh.
In that case, since that's your action, he's literally just going to swing down and basically try and go for your legs.
Okay.
So I'll roll his to hit. You don't have anything that makes you more difficult to hit, do you, than standard diff?
Nope.
Cool. Oh, that was just... There were no ones in there. That just really wasn't a good roll. I do hit, but it's not a good roll.
Yeah. Had a couple close ones.
I was going to say, if we assume just a wooden sword, just +1 bashing, which, yeah, it's probably +1 bashing. So that would be that. Plus his strength, +1, which is going to be equal to, yep. God, these dice. That is just 2 bashing.
Well, you don't subtract ones from damage rolls.
I beg your pardon?
You don't subtract ones from damage rolls, since that was a damage roll. So it's actually 4.
Oh, yes, you're right. That is 4 bashing.
Alright. I get my soak. Alright, I soaked one of it.
Okay, that hurt a lot. That's going to leave a bruise.
Yeah.
It's over to you, Jim.
Top of initiative. Oh boy. And then the willpower to ignore wound penalties for the turn. And I'm gonna go ahead and swing back at you.
Nice. This turn, he's just going to take a full defensive action. So, because I technically should declare first, and then you declare.
That's true. You have anything up that would make you more difficult to hit?
Not active currently.
Okay. Alright, 2 successes. Man.
He brings his sword up and parries you, and he smiles and he says, "You're not bad. There's true potential there." It's top of the initiative again, so I will make my declaration. He's going to just take another full defensive action.
Okay. I will swing at you again. Will be better this time. Hey, another 2 successes. Spending willpower for what? I should have declared that ahead.
Yeah. He parries again.
Alright, seeing that. Okay, yeah, you get to declare.
Yeah. Another full defensive action. You can tell he kind of wants you to hit him.
Yeah. We're gonna try it again. I'm clearing that
I
willpower.
have faith in you.
I'm gonna run out of fucking willpower for this. Alright, 3 successes this time.
Dang it.
Oh my god.
And my 10 doubles there, so that's actually 5 successes. Okay. He brings the sword up, and you're really close to him now, as in, just a couple of inches from his face. And he says, once again, genuine potential. Genuine potential.
So it's your turn to declare.
Oh, full defensive. Actually, you know what? For cinematic and dramatic purposes, he will declare, because I think I can do this, he will declare a full defensive action. However, he will fail the defensive action.
Okay.
I think, you can declare that you will fail a roll, I think.
Okay. I mean, I'm cool with it if you want.
Yeah, as in you're purposefully, I as the player, the character will do his best, but he will still fail.
Yeah.
So roll to hit him.
Karen's getting a little upset at this point, so he's going, like, he's not going to hit you, like, square in the head, but he's going to go for the shoulder. Not really a call shot, just like, grah. Oh. Evan, the dice hate me. Life's hard.
That's bad, Jim. That's
It
really
is.
bad.
Yeah.
How much willpower are you on?
Like, let's see. So 7, this has been 4 rounds in, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm at 3.
Okay. Okay. Just trying to think, what's the best thing to do? So you go to hit him, and you misjudge the distance ever so slightly between you. So I'm gonna say you connect with him, but you don't connect with an awful lot of force. So you slip past his guard, and you just kind of tap him, and he looks down at the fact you've just tapped him, and he smiles, and he says, "Well, if this were real, I'd now be dead. Mind you, you'd be dead 3 times over, so shall we call it there, sir?"
It's up to you.
He will casually drop the sword on the ground and raise his hands and say, "I'm happy to yield at this point."
He'll put the sword down. I think the weight of this was throwing me off a bit. Not to make excuses or anything, but
Sorry, what
I
was
was
that?
trained with. And he said, I think the weight of this was throwing me off a little bit. Not to make excuses or anything, I was just trained with a broadsword.
Frankly, I believe that if I had given you a broadsword, I might now be a mess on the floor, and I'd rather like living, and I rather intend to keep doing it.
I find most people enjoy living, so it makes sense.
His butler will casually walk over, and she's gonna kneel down right in front of you, and she's gonna look up. And she's gonna say, "Well, this can go one of 2 ways, really. Either you can pull your trousers down, or we can cut them off, whichever you prefer."
What?
She's kneeling on the ground in front of you, and she says, "Well, this can go either one of 2 ways. Either you can pull your trousers down, or we can cut them off, whichever you prefer."
No, I heard you. It's just that's Karen's reaction. It's just a flat what?
"So I can bandage your leg, dear."
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. All right.
I often find that context is somewhat important, which is why I very seldom give it.
See, getting that vibe.
But she will proceed to. I know her medicine score, so I'll just make the check for her. Do-do-do-do-do. Ah-do-do-do-do. Ah-do-do-do-do. That is still 3 successes. So yes, she will wrap the bandage around your leg. Fucker nearly dislocated your knee. Let's phrase it like that. But it will start to feel much better. You'll probably heal a bashing after the first 30 minutes or so, and the rest will start to dissipate over the next day or two. Do forgive me, Triori says as he retakes his seat, as the butler starts to pick up all of the sandwiches and teacups and shit that's on the floor without saying another word, just like, this is my job, I do this. Do forgive me, I wanted to give you somewhat of a crash test, but you passed if it helps.
It definitely is helping soothe my ego a little bit, yeah.
As I've said, I think you have the capability to be a great knight. I just think you need someone to teach you the pathway to walk to becoming that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I've just kind of been playing things by ear thus far.
Mm-hmm. Well, how to phrase it? You can see him genuinely thinking for a moment, and he would say, to honor the man who gave his life to defend you, I would like to give you the opportunity to use your strength to help others.
He'll nod. What's this opportunity?
Well, how to phrase? Do you understand how it is that I don't know how much you know, because I've met a number of people recently who don't know all that they should, realistically. So, do you know how our society works with the knights and the nobles, etc.?
Time to see. Gotta remember it's reading. This definitely helps with this. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna roll my intelligence.
It'd be intelligence changeling lore, probably.
I mean, either one. It's the same dice pool anyway, so.
Dice!
Alright, 2 successes. So he's got a pretty rough idea.
Mhm.
And he'll say, yeah, there's the houses, you have your squires of, who train under the knights, who serve the barons, so on and so forth.
You're exactly right. Well, at this point, he snaps his fingers, and his female attendant walks forward, and she removes a box from the inside of a bag that she's carrying, and she puts it on the table in front of you.
He'll look down at it and look at Traori with a, can I go ahead and open it, or
Oh, Triori will nod if you ask him that.
he'll open it.
Inside, there is a red sash. Do you feel as though your 2 dots in your 2 successes would tell you what that means, or no? It's up to you.
I mean, I'm okay with it if you are.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. He'll look down at it, blink a couple times, and look up Traori and say, Are you sure? I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong.
Well, the way I view it is, you want to help people, and I think you will make an excellent knight one day. But I think that you need someone to show you the path, and I'm happy to show you the path.
He'll nod and take it out of the box. I accept your offer.
He will basically snap his fingers again, and she will walk forward with a piece of paper, and she'll hand it to you.
I will look down at it.
Basically, it's just because obviously it's quote unquote legally, and he doesn't know if you would know the oath of fealty, so he just handed you that basically.
Okay.
And yeah, so to the book, because fuck if I know the oath of fealty.
Right.
Because I think there's another oath I have to give you the oath of the Ashit after you give the oath of fealty, don't I?
I think so.
Yes, I do. Sorry, it's on page 265.
Awesome. Okay. So, he will bend one knee, kind of kneeling in front of him, and say, "In the name of the dreaming, I swear my loyalty to you, my lord. As the moon rolls the tide, as the rain refreshes the grass, as the sun imparts life to all, so your will becomes my desire. As you command, I will obey. As you request, I will comply. May my service always please you, and may my eyes lose their sight if I invoke your wrath. My heart, my mind, my hands are yours from now until you release me from this oath."
And he will smile and say, "So is it witnessed, and I in turn, in the name of the dreaming, I take sorry, in the name of the dreaming, I take you, Kieran Winger, as my vassal. As the stones, the trees, the grass belong to the earth, so too do you belong to me, as one of my house and hearth. I promise to hold you, to guard you, to keep you. I pledge to honor your service as it deserves, as reward and to reward loyalty in kind, and to assure you of shelter in times of need and plenty. As the moon to the sea below, as it was will, as it is my will to yours. With these words, I pledge the Ashit to you." Holy crap, that's really, really small print.
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous.
It's really small italic C print. It's really fucking hard to read.
God damn it, Onyx Path, you and your good books, and then this one tiny thing that annoys me.
Well, there's also the complete lack of an index.
I mean, they're working on that.
They're working on that, that's a thing.
Yeah.
But he will say, "I will inform the Baron of this, and from now on, when you appear in public, you should wear your sash of office."
Yes, sir. I'll do my best to write and make you proud.
Do you have any questions?
When do we begin training?
He says, a very excellent question. First, he will once again snap his fingers, and from the bag, you can tell they pre-planned this. From the bag, she removes an incredibly large leather-bound book and places it in your hands. It's written in English, unlike most of his books. But basically, it is kind of it's a history of famous knights and what it means to be a knight. You know, like the knightly virtues, chivalry, things like that. And he'll say, "The first test is not a test of arms, but a test of the mind. You must come to understand these concepts before it is you can implement them on a day-to-day basis." Does that make sense?
Yeah. Get the mental knowledge to know when to use these and what to do before I gain the physical ability.
He nods. "Oh, yes. Where do you live?" That might be a question I should know the answer to.
He gives law location. It's a resources one apartment. Like it's not fancy at all.
He will very casually sigh, and he will turn to Elizabeth, and he will say, "Yes, prepare Master Winger and a bedroom here, please. We can't have him living in squalor. Thank you." He will nod and go, "Yes, my lord." "What time do you like your breakfast served at, Squire Winger?"
I try to get up pretty early, 6 or 7 if you can.
Very good. Would you prefer the continental or the fried?
Fried, please.
Excellent. You can actually see she's making notes of this. This is a bog and run household, sir. We cater to all tastes.
Fantastic.
But,
I actually have a question. Is your butler a changeling?
She's permanently enchanted, possibly a Cathane. I've yet to talk to Sean about it. She's a thing.
Okay.
She can see you as you are. Let's phrase it like that.
She's not in a sheet break.
No, she is not in a sheet break.
Okay, cool.
But she will smile and she will say, "Welcome to the family, sir. I am at your disposal night and day."
Thank you, and he'll turn to Trevor and say, "Thank you again for your hospitality. I won't let you down."
I don't think you will. As I've said, we will be heading into the deep dreaming at some point next week, he says, looking over at her, who kind of shrugs and looks at her address book and says, "Well, you've yet to schedule what I will only refer to as quests to the end of infinity. So when you would like to set a date for it, by all means, I'll write it in the schedule." And people just kind of go, "Meh." But yes, we will see what we can do before then. So with that in mind, go home and pack up what you want to bring and bring it back. Yes?
Will do.
Wonderful. He will smile and pick up the cup of tea before sipping. Needless to say, his cup was the only cup that remained on the table after he jumped onto the table, because of course it was.
She's like a fish.
Yeah. And he will take a sip. I think that this is going to be the start of a very interesting friendship.
He'll nod and say, I'm sure there will be some weird looks, at the least.
He smiles and says, "I've often learned something. Unfortunately, many of my kith are they have their heads so high in the clouds that they forget what the ground looks like."
I can't really disagree with you there.
So, if any of them give you disrespect, pay them no mind. You shall just show through your actions that their words are nothing but air.
He'll nod.
And yeah, with that, I think we shall close out the scene.
Cool.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Have a good night, y'all.